Come on. There you go.
Okay, looks like we're live.
And like that former Fox host, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Oh, here we are. We're live. Hey, hey, Laura, come here, KK. Come here, baby. Come on, KK. Leave him alone. Don't you start getting like that. You all right, KK? Yeah, I know. I know. She gets to be snippy sometimes. Behave.
So finally I got YouTube working. Hello, everybody.
Yes, KK, good bird. Cecil gets an arm. Come here, KK, good bird. Come on. Come on up. Lorelai, come here. Yeah, you're out of here. She's in one of her moods. Up there. There, KK. Yeah, she got one of her moods.
The Lorelei has been ejected after less
Yeah,
than 1 minute of being live.
yeah.
That was just too much. But we could have a little sighting of tritons. Oh.
Doesn't happen often, but she gets in a mood. No. Cecil's gonna take care of KK so he doesn't feel so attacked. He didn't fight back. He just ran away from her, but I was hoping she wouldn't go that way, but when she starts playing with toys when she first gets in here, it's not uncommon for her to go a little bit off the deep end. You're the only one that actually paid attention, other than Cecil.
Oh, the shark.
That look on her face, like, what was that all about? The incredible vanishing Lorelei.
Lorelei had so much fun with Cecil's toy before we started the live stream. But then everything escalated.
When she's got her emotions high like that, you have to watch her. And he had, and KK he'd climbed down to the floor, and then he was trying to climb back up, and then she tried to stop him, and then I brought him over, and she tried to get him while I was bringing him over onto my lap. I said, "That's it.
Maybe one day KK gets the idea that not the pink birds might be the problem."
Yeah, he hasn't had a pink bird try to attack him, that's for sure. But
they're just crazy.
Doesn't run after him anymore, though. That's nice. If they get on the floor, he just looks like he'll let me hold him back.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even Manda can be inside the room now when he wants to be. When the little Manda bird chooses to be in with us, which is not the case today, I guess.
No, he turned his back to me, and I said, "Are you coming out?" And he shook his head up and down, which means no. So he used to jump to the bottom of his cage, but he doesn't have to be that obvious now. He just has to turn his back to me and shake his head up and down. No, not going. Lorelei, by the way, will attack almost anyone when she's like that. It doesn't happen that often, but she'll I shouldn't say attack because she doesn't try to hurt them, but she flies into them and tries to scare them. She'll do that with Cecil too. She'll do it with anybody. So it's important to get her out of the room, calm her down. I'll get her back out later, but when she's fired up like that, she'll attack. She'll even nip at me when she's like that.
So our first chatter arrived. It's Colin Thurston who says hoot hoot.
Hello, Calvin.
I think
Oh, God.
Calvin is owned by a Triton, so he knows what Triton trouble means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think Lorelai's part Triton. I know she's not. Yeah, sometimes.
Maybe she is because she was kind of raised with Babalu around her.
Maybe she did it. She did have him in her environment the whole time she was young. So
Yeah, and I think she considered him as some kind of older brother who needed a little help.
a brother from another mother. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm. And Cecil, do you have many brothers and sisters?
Every bird's different. Like with her, I know I have to take her out of the room because if she can't get to KK, she'll go after any other bird in the room. So with other
Mm.
birds, you can calm them down. You can, I mean, there's different things you do for everyone. With her, it's just okay. You're out now. You
Sugar
can't
is
even put
watching
her.
intensely.
Yeah, you can't
Maybe
even.
she says she wants to apply for being the instance for this topic, like parrot intelligence, like take me model.
Poster child.
I'm predestinated for that.
Oh, she's a smart girl. There's no question about that. She proved it the day she stole my earpiece by taking my glasses off. That was she planned that whole thing out. That was just bizarre. I'm sitting there. I come in the room so she can't see that I have one earpiece in. That was when I first started wearing them, and pretty much you only had a single earpiece. But I knew she'd try to get it if she saw it, so I walked into the room where my head was turned so she couldn't see it. Sat down in that old chair, the one that gave me the hernia when I threw out. Sat down in the old chair. A bunch of birds got on me, and I made sure she couldn't see it. She came flying down, took my glasses off, threw them on the floor, and got up on the cage across from me. When I bent down to pick up my glasses, she took the earpiece. So that was her plan. That was her plan. But the first step was to take the glasses, throw them on the floor so that I would bend over so she could get the ear. I've seen her do so many things like that, though, where she's obviously had a couple of stages in her planning.
She is
And the
diabolical.
Goffin lab in Austria has shown that these guys can, they can plan things out in detail. So they've actually done the experiments to prove it. Basically, they're smarter in most ways than a 6-year-old child because they give the same kind of a puzzle to a 6-year-old and couldn't figure it out. So, what are you doing up there? You don't mind that I threw Lorelai out? Doesn't bother you? Apparently not. He's not hitting me with the wood.
Well, he can meet his girlfriend later. So we
Oh,
have a couple of chatters who joined us. So Falcons is here, wishing us all a happy Monday. Then we have Rosebud, who greets the flock and friends. And then we have Lisa Banerjee here, who also greets everyone.
Hello to you guys.
Good to see
hello.
you all. Hope you're all fit and healthy and happy.
If not, we'll send Cecil over to fix you up. Right, Cecil?
Yep. He cures basically everything with bashing.
See, if he was
Cecil.
upset that I took Lorelai out, he would not be sitting like he'd be taking that wood and hitting me with it. But he knows when she gets like that too. She's not safe to be around. So
That's a beautiful piece of wood, Cecil.
hey, Cecil. Cecil the bird. Yeah, it's a topic I've covered before, but there's new information too. So as far as their intelligence, physiological and behavioral information is new. So
So we have another
and
chat joining us, Thunderbang, who says, "Good day, everybody." He just started watching, so hello and welcome.
hey, good day, mate.
Let's see if they'll welcome you. I think he lost to be the committee.
Yeah, typical mammals, human mammals anyway, we tend to think we're the smartest things on the planet, but the more the research on these guys is slow because obviously mammals are the most important animals. Um, we're stuck on the whole mammal thing strictly because we are mammals, but the more they research these guys, the more amazing they are. The more amazing we find them out to be, I should say. What? What?
So,
Let's see
and
something.
Jocelyn Crickle arrived. So, hello and welcome, Jocelyn. Good to see you.
Hello, Cindy.
Hello.
What?
Bird.
What kind of bird? What kind of bird are you? Yeah, that kind of bird. Cecil, don't hit me with the sharp end. Yeah, I know you hate me. I know. Because of me, you were stuck on a plane coming all the way from Alaska, right?
He didn't mind.
Yeah, that was one of the oddest days of my life. I haven't been here terribly long. And of all the days to forget my wallet, I didn't even have any money stashed in the vehicle. No credit cards, no money. I get there to pick him up and I've got to prove who I am without a driver's license. Fortunately, I had a copy of my driver's license on the phone. That's the only way I was able to get him. Yeah. Oh, I thought of everything else, the extra water, the extra food, all emergency stuff when you're traveling in the desert. But and here's this little guy in a carrier looking at me through the bars. What am I doing? What's going on? Yeah, you sure about that? You sure about that? Little nut. Yeah, little nut. That's two on my finger. Yeah. Cecil, that hurts. You're a good boy. And we get used to the fact that they can talk and that they're intelligent, but you just have to imagine as somebody walking into their kitchen in the morning, seeing the dog holding a spoon, and it looks at you and says, "Good morning." Most people would have a heart attack. It's normal for people who know these guys. What? What are you saying? No?
Cockatoo.
Cockatoo.
It's his new word.
That's cute.
KK cockatoo.
You guys, I'm cornered here.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is taking, well, I wouldn't say that Sugar's taking a nap. She's just kind of relaxing up there. Whoops, I'm looking at my own face. That's no fun.
No walkabouts during live streams, huh, Shuggy? No chance.
No, I've got a short clip of her doing a walkabout. That was just bizarre.
It was the
Sugar.
imposter sugar again.
Yeah, Sugar was doing a room inspection on, I think, Saturday. A complete room inspection all over the floor, every perch in the room.
Yep, she did the whole place.
Well,
Then
that's
she
her
started.
exercise for the year.
She didn't go back to her perch for quite a while. It was about a half hour before she went back to her perch. She's never done that before. Don't grab my ear, you silly bird.
Well, I remember once she was running on the floor, up and down and around.
Yeah, but usually that's when something happens and she kind of flies off the perch. This
Mm,
wasn't like that at all.
nope. And one time she left and walked to her cage, and you were sitting came back in here, and we were like, "Where's Sugar?" Searched the whole room, no Shuggy. Looking outside, she's at her cage. That's so cute, huh, Shuggy? Do you surprise us sometimes?
Hey, that's my
So
ear.
majestic.
See, so there we go. What are you doing down there? What are you doing? Bear with me, folks. Technical difficulty here. Let's see.
Is Cecil chewing the phone?
Hey, I got Cecil grabbing my ear at the same time, too.
Cecil.
You ought to be careful with your ears,
Mm.
because you messed up one of them pretty badly.
That's the ear he's sitting next to, actually.
Oh dear.
It'll probably never be the same, but that's okay.
It's a little love bite from Cecil.
Okay, why is this not working? I'm trying to bring up my notes so I make sure I don't forget anything. And typical, if working with Zoom, it doesn't always work the way you want it to. There we go. All right, Cecil. You're going. Yeah, now he's probably trying to tell me to bring Laura back in, but I'm not doing that yet. A little later. A little
He
later.
wants his girlfriend back in the room. Oh my, Cecil. I think Lisa must be happy that at least Rico hasn't a girlfriend.
Yeah, his former girlfriend, his former mate, is in New Jersey with the former board director, and she was letting him watch letting Simone watch a movie with Sylvester Stallone, and I have no interest in Marble Mouth, and I said that's a terrible thing to do, exposing her to Marble Mouth. My least favorite, I wouldn't even call him an actor. My least favorite celebrity. What are you doing? Yep. Oh, now I'm being hammered. That's gonna make things easy for me. I've got KK hammering my left hand, and I've got Cecil doing the side shuffle over here. I'm gonna get a crook in my neck, kid, when you do that. Hey. Well, let's get on to Parrot Intelligence. The thing about them is that they're now rating them roughly, just say roughly. And if you talk about their intelligence in the you're going to make this impossible for me to talk, whacking my ear with that. Calm down. Calm down. You'll get your mate will come back in here eventually. She will. They're roughly equal. Their scientific community is saying they're roughly have the equivalent of a primate or a dolphin brain. So stop it. Okay, you need to move down here. I'm leading him by a toy. They calm down. I can't possibly talk with you whacking my head. You think so? Uh-huh. Cecil, I'm not gonna let you do that. No. I know. Okay. Oh, I love you too. KK loves me. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Good. Cecil.
Sweet talking.
Now, see, here I am trying to outwit him, and he's going to get up on my shoulders somehow. No. I don't want you whacking my head while I'm trying to talk. I don't. I don't. Cecil bird. He's getting me with this sharp point. Little sharp end right there. So when I get hit with that, it kind of resets what brain I have. Hey! No, I got KK trying to eat my wrist. You're trying to eat my watch? My old watch? It's old. No, you're not going to do it. Okay, well, this break brought to you by Cecil trying to climb up and KK trying to eat my watch. Well, they have large skulls, and inside those large skulls is an unusually large brain for an animal that size. Hey, that tickles. Okay, you two, you're double teaming me. You're double teaming me. Yes, you are. Oh, you're petting me now? That's very nice of you.
Rosebud wishes you good luck.
I'm gonna need it.
Cecil usually wins.
Yeah, almost every time.
And I want to say hello to Buktia Shah, who is here in chat. So hello, good to see you.
Hello.
Okay, they've got do it. They have large brains, and an unusual amount of their brain is actually dedicated to the forebrain. Okay, which is where cognition and come on, move over here, over there. That's where we get the complex behaviors. Like, I'm going to figure out how to get to your shoulder, whether you want me to or not. So I can get up there and whack you with that. Now, they originally, people who were studying the biology of these birds didn't think they could be terribly intelligent, and they couldn't understand how they could do some of the things they do because they don't have a cerebral cortex. In other words, they were comparing it to mammals again. So no cerebral cortex must not be smart. But they have a section of their brain that's the easiest way to remember is this is the abbreviation is the NCL, It's the Neopallidum caudolateral. So, ends if you say that 3 times fast, you might win a prize. But from what they've been able to tell from fMRIs, that seems to be the area that is activated when they're being highly inventive and doing complex behaviors, which might be sliding down a roof. Well, they didn't use fMRIs for that, but sliding down the roof on a flat piece of plastic they found, and then switching, and then the other bird does it, and then they switch back and forth and keep sliding down the roof. There's a video of that on the web. The video of the bird that is the greater sulfur, who is asking, I know you just want my attention. I know. I get 2 of them trying to get my attention now. I know. You're a good boy. But tickling me is not the way to get my attention. Well, actually, it is. Yoo-hoo. No, come here. Come here. You need to. You. No, not go on my shoulder. Well, this is probably a good time for them to continually outwit me. What? We know some of this from fMRIs, and then we've seen it in action in the Goffin's lab and with Dr. Pepperberg's work. Now, she works primarily with African grays, and you will hear people say, oh, they're the smartest of the parrots. Why? Because they talk. They talk more. They imitate more. They do some imitation sounds, but they also talk. When I say talk, Bob says good morning to me, but only in the morning. Not bird. You're hypnotizing me up there, you little monster. You are. Now, another thing is that their brains have a high density of neurons. It's not so much that they have a larger brain, but they also have more neurons in that space than a mammal could possibly have. And we found in recent research that they're more efficient than mammal neurons. Probably why they don't start wars, go around hating everyone. They're not totally egocentric. What do you think? I wish I know what you thought. You think you're halfway to my shoulder, I know. There aren't many animals that are capable of vocal learning, and not all parrots like to do that. They choose whether they're going to learn to vocalize like we do. Almost all of them at least make some sounds, but with Pepperberg's work, she worked with the African grays, the Congo African grays, specifically Alex. She has Griffin now and a couple of others she's working with, but she got lucky with the first one because Alex liked to talk and to communicate. I'm getting hammered. After this, I probably would but I don't drink. You guys are just totally trying to take me off track here. No, we're not doing that. No, you're not going to get on my hand that way, little boy. They have now found a certain circuit of neurons that they call the song nuclei in the brain, which is where you hear birds that have a specific little song in the wild. Whatever kind of native bird, whether it be a sparrow, many types, they all have a song, and there's a certain area where these the neurons form what is called a song nuclei. But these have highly advanced areas where they're able to communicate using a wide variety of sounds. You want to give me some sounds down there? Now you want to chew on my little finger? Now, I don't know about chewing on my little finger. He's quite gentle when he does that, but okay, you did it again, you big toad. Back on my shoulder. Oh, you're gonna come down a little bit? Oh, how nice of you. How nice of you to do that. Pepperberg's work, you can learn a lot by just getting the book. Alex and I, but I think it's Alex and I, or me and Alex. It's either the grammatically correct name or the other one, but not only was he able to label objects, he was able to learn what triangles and squares and circles are. They used similar name. She had a naming convention that made it easier. One side, two side, three side, that kind of thing. No sides. But he didn't just identify colors and identify objects. He was able to express his desires. He would ask for his favorite treat. He would say when he was tired and he wanted to go back in his cage. He would say good night. When they put him up for the night, he would say good night. He didn't say good night in the morning. You know, they learn by context like we do. What are you doing? What are you doing?
So we have a comment concerning this topic. It's from Phoenix Sparkers, the first hello and welcome. And the comment is, I don't think they are as intelligent as dolphins, but they are probably on similar level with monkeys.
Well, the biologists at this point would differ with you on that. If you research it, you'll see that they're being linked to having similar intelligence. I know it doesn't seem possible, but mammals have a different neural structure. So it is difficult to tell one from the other. It's like comparing apples and oranges when you talk about mammals and ferrets. But the current thinking is that they're listed with primates. Some will say with the great apes, and some will say monkeys. I mean, there's a little bit of I don't think there's a consensus around the ones who've studied them more deeply. They would say dolphins and apes, actually. But if you want to know how intelligent they are, probably your best bet is to read the Alex studies by Pepperberg, because she's done the greatest amount of research on that. And I don't know if a dolphin, I don't think anyone knows this, if a dolphin understands the concept of zero, but Alex did. And so you could dig into that book, which will give you some detail on it. And then you can also look around and I think there's some good articles in Scientific American on the neural structure of parrots. But I'm going with what most of the scientists who study these guys are saying. And certainly they can teach dolphins to do a lot of tricks. But if you'll notice with a dolphin, they generally tend to throw at fish every time, right? When it's done something they're supposed to. But with these guys, we actually use secondary reinforcement, which is to say we can use just a few words to get through to them, and they're happy with that, or they might just get a pet. If you try doing that with a dolphin, you're probably not going to get the response you want because they're working for fish. These guys don't always work for food. One of the umbrellas I met at when there was a trainer there early on when I was studying, his name was Rocky, and he would not work for food. He would only work for being petted. So he worked for social reinforcement.
Yeah.
But it's still a point to be argued because they're not researching it as deeply as they probably should, because they're only focused on things that are more related to us. A lot of differences. There's a physiological difference between them and other small animals. You won't find many small animals that can live 80 years. So, which is to say there is something going on, which we believe it's the telomerase, the part of the DNA that actually works. They're like little engines that go up and down your DNA and fix broken DNA, resequence DNA that's been damaged. Theirs don't break down. We know that now. So, but yeah, you might research a little bit into that book, and that might change your ideas some. But we don't know. There's no way actually to know or to compare them to mammals because they live in a different world than we do. We can't fly. We're not built like them. One thing that would probably indicate that they would be at least equal to dolphins is dolphins don't actually have hands, where these guys have feet they can use like hands. They pick things up with their feet. They can eat with a spoon. So.
The follow-up question by Phoenix, do you think parrots are more intelligent than corvids?
Well, that's just going to be my opinion because there is no what's the word for it? There's no consensus in the community there. They do have parrots. The larger parrots have bigger brains than corvids, but brain size is not as important as we thought it was, at least in avians.
If I can come in on that one, I would mention that parrots are more dexterous with their feet and beaks, and they also have a longer lifespan. So they have a lot more opportunity to show off their intelligence.
Yeah. Some of the research that's been done on either species, corvids and citizens, the research it's not parallel, right? Okay. For example, they did research in San Diego at San Diego State on parrots, and it was a 5-year study. But what they did is they had people walk by them, and they had them on it. Well, the birds were actually in an fMRI machine. So, that's kind of a tough situation for a bird to be in, where its head's kind of locked in a position. But anyway, they had people walk by. Then they had people stop and talk to them, different people. Then they had people who actually interacted, reached over and touched them, that kind of thing. And after 5 years, they brought the same, they brought these people back, and you could tell by the brain responses, these parrots recognized them. They got a stronger response from the people who stopped, and an even stronger response from the brain from the people who touched them in the recollection area of the brain. So we don't have that on corvids, although we know that corvids can recognize faces. And so do these guys. So A corvid will recognize a face. They did that research where they used a mask, and somebody in a mask, and then the birds recognize that person in the mask. So I don't think we know. I would tend to think that their intelligence is similar, but that's something I wish we had an answer for. But they're all both pretty smart. Obviously parrots do a better job of vocalizing, but then you can see some corvids can imitate sounds too. So good question though. It's a good question. I wish we had more answers, but the other side of it is to get more answers on those kind of questions, you have to trap these guys in an environment where it's not healthy for them too. So maybe at some point we'll be able to discover that without having to put them in captivity. There was one raven. There was a journalist named Sybil Leek when I was a kid who went around and she was the journalist that went around with a raven on her shoulder. So she actually, we're not talking about one in a harness either. I mean, it went with her everywhere and it stayed with her, but it wasn't harnessed. What are you doing? What are you doing down there? All good questions. Yeah, they're social, so a lot of the intelligence they have, the behaviors we see are social intelligence. They're cooperative, as in Australia, where they'll knock the brick off of a trash can together and then one bird will get on one side. You'll have a greater sulfur on one side and a greater sulfur on the other, and they take the lid and throw it back and they get into the trash can. And so far, I think the great cerebral cortex of the human mind hasn't come up with a better solution than a brick. And it's not as effective as they would like. So what's the great human brain going to think of next? A larger brick?
2 bricks.
Use 2 bricks.
That was something I giggled, I think, more than 5 minutes when I watched a YouTube video about that, how they try to protect the trash bins in Australia and they use bricks, and then the parrots, of course, figured out just to push down the brick. And then the super solution was like, we use now 2 bricks. That was like, human intelligence. Maybe far overestimated.
Much overestimated. I mean, these guys don't get into wars either. They're not into war and hate like humans are. But they use their intelligence for things like cooperative activities, like I said, with the trash cans. Allopreening. Now, if you ever watch these guys preen each other, if you watch how they have these incredibly powerful beaks, and you watch them preen around each other's eyes, I mean, the first thing you're going to do is cringe because, I mean, one slip up and there goes the eye, right? But they're incredibly able to manipulate that beak in such a way as to be, it's a finely detailed manipulation. I've watched Cecil make his own toys, thread things, take a piece of twine or a piece of leather and put it through the hole of a bead, and then he'll grab a piece of wood that has a hole through it and he'll thread it through that, and then he'll make his own toys. So, and that takes a lot of fine detailed ability, but allopreening is probably the one that's the most obvious, that they have such an incredible I know, baby boy, I know, you're a good bird. What are you saying? Yeah, you sure? Another thing we see in the wild, and I see it here every day, is they respond to each other's emotional states. So if one of them is all hyped up, then the others usually get hyped up. Or in the case of someone like Bob, which is one of the reasons Bob can't usually, he can't be in with the other birds. They have to take him out separately. Is because they look at him and they look at his emotional state and they remember his past history, and nobody will sit near me. That's it. They're just out of my way. So they have a memory of what he's done in the past, and they look at him and the way he acts, and they're like, okay, we're not having anything to do with him. Cecil was the last one to actually give up on him. Now Cecil won't be near him either. But they can actually look, and they react to each other's emotional states. Well, when I was researching this too, just to see what the new things were, I used ChatGPT to help me look for new articles and things, but I found some of the articles that are still talking about the old ideas from way back, where they were talking about social hierarchies. They don't have that. Well, they have the mother, the parents, the babies, the juveniles. They have that kind of hierarchy, but there's no social structure per se. Years ago, someone was trying to design a program to imitate birds in flight. These birds like the swallows around Capistrano that all seem to fly as one. And what the programmer finally figured out is that they have a way of reacting. So if one bird turns a certain way, then another bird will react to it, and but the reactions are all the same. So programmed one bird and was able to make a flock flying around. Okay. But they don't have that kind of, they don't work on as much instinct as a lot of the smaller birds do. Although that we're not saying the smaller birds aren't smart. They just don't work on that kind of all right, Cecil, you have to get ready to say why I'm having trouble with him. He's putting that piece of wood in the case. He wants my attention. He wants me to stop talking, don't you? Don't you? Must, because now he's not shoving it in my face. I'm paying attention to you, and that's what you want, isn't it? Yeah. Now, where they will exhibit that is if there's a predator, then they have a certain patternless pattern they take off in. What I mean by patternless pattern is that they will go off at angles from each other, and it makes it hard for that mammal that's trying to get to them, or that reptile, to even be able to focus on one of them. And that seems to be instinctive. What kind of bird? Tell me what kind of bird you are. Nose diving bird. You don't have a nose. You can't nose dive. What are you doing? Oh, you're gonna kiss my hand? Thank you. That's nice. See, it's apparent that they are able to remember where food sources are. They're able to remember power phases, for example. But in the wild, they're able to remember when the particular time of year is where a certain tree will be fruiting. And they travel around a bit. But these guys are so smart. There was there's a book, it's an older book called The Parrots of Loquio. And they were trying to protect trying to save actually the Puerto Rican parrot. and they went down there to study them. And at no time could they find their sleeping area. Now they weren't tagging them and putting ID tags, like they didn't have that kind of thing back in those days, as this is an older book. So what they would do if they were able to catch one is they put a tag on it, but it would just be a number. But after a while, they learned the flocks they were studying. They were able to learn which birds are which. And when you read this book, it actually will say things like bird number 217 approached bird number 42, and they went over to tree number such as a. It's that kind of a book, but the when they tried to hide in blinds, these duck blinds, that didn't work. I mean, these guys had a couple of them would watch them, and if they came out of the duck blind, they'd fly away. But they'd keep a sentinel watching for the humans to see what they were doing in that duck blind. They're sharp, and since they don't have a hierarchy, they just kind of feel like somebody would take over the job. Oh, I'm here to take over. You can go eat now. Oh yeah. I should have picked a simpler topic for today. They're just all over me today. Cecily, you back up there doing it again. Yep. They react differently at different times. So sometimes it's easy for me to talk and do one of these videos. At other times, they're going to take over, and that's okay. All right. But play is important to them. This is part of their playtime. Yeah. Well, tell me about it. What about it? What about it? What, KK? What about it, KK? Huh? You're just a big silly bird, aren't you? Huh? What? What? Now they play in groups. They play with other. They'll just partner up and play with somebody, and it may not even be their regular mate partner, just somebody to play with. They preen each other. A male can preen a female from another bond. So there's a mate, somebody else's mate they can preen, but they can only preen, their head. They try to preen anything else, the mate will come over and chase them away. But what are you doing? And another thing about the trash cans in Australia, this is a learned behavior. They learn their whole lives long. So when somebody came along, one of the birds came along and said, "Oh, we can get into these trash cans." Then it became a thing, and it spread all throughout Australia. It just kind of spread out in a nice concentric rings, right? As each cockatoo learned a new behavior, so they learn new things and they spread that knowledge among the flock. And that exploration is something that makes them special. And they use tools too, which is used to be only. That's what makes humans so special, because they are the tool user. Oh, sorry. Next contestant, please. Hey, you. You know, when you're whacking my glasses, it's really hard to keep my eyes on the screen to know what I'm capturing. Stop that. You're back to it again. Let's move you. Let's move you. And then you can do what you want in a couple of minutes because we're almost done. I don't know what I've said, to be honest, because you guys look at this corralling me here. Well, the last note on the intelligence that if you read the Alex studies, when Dr. Pepperberg came up with, she was frustrated with Alex that the day that she found out he understood the concept of zero. She was frustrated with him, and what she was doing, she had different shapes of different colors. So yellow squares and green triangles and yellow triangles and this kind of thing. So she was trying to get him to count, like, how many three sides, how many triangles that are yellow. So she would say, how many yellow three sides? And he would say, want to go eat. I believe that was what he said, want to go eat. And or he wanted his treat. So when she would ask the question, he would say something else. He just wouldn't stay on topic. So finally, she named an object that wasn't down there. She didn't have any of a particular thing like a green square. She goes, how many green squares? And he said, all gone. And then she tried that with something, she tried the other ones. She still was ignoring. But after that, she put it in the regular rotation to ask for something that wasn't there. And the answer was always all gone. The concept of zero, since there's nothing there. So there's no way to know if corvids at this point understand the concept of zero. Maybe they do. Dolphins might understand it. Maybe. Elephants, maybe. But we know they're self-aware because if you put a little dot on their, whoops, this has been done, a little dot on their forehead, there's some elephants too and other animals, but you put a dot on their forehead, and you put them in front of a mirror, they will try to wipe the dot off their head. I know. You have to climb up my arm. I can't even control this camera. I'll show you guys the sleeping. Well, you're not sleeping now. The sleeping parrots.
They're all going to start waking up now because they know it's time to end the stream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the time. Jasmine, can you give us an eye? Jazz. Hi, Jazz. Hello. Thank you. She gave us an eye anyway. Snowball?
Oh, Snowball.
It's no Snowball.
He's not even stalking a Moroccan.
Nope. He's just hanging out.
Okay. And his
Well,
bestie, Cecil.
Thank you, Amy and Eleanor, for your assistance, and thank everyone for being here. And
Thank you, John, for the stream.
I did my best, but I had two birds working me, so I don't know how well I did.
I think the viewers enjoyed.
Yeah, they demonstrated their intelligence by wrangling you.
And this is that fine motor ability too. They can do things with that beak and that tongue that it's hard to even imagine. Okay, guys, we'll see you Wednesday, and we're out of here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.